Hey everyone, welcome back to Gaming with Amy. Thanks so much for being here. Have you ever looked at the amount of hours you've put into a single game? I honestly never had, so I did a little digging recently. I was a bit surprised and maybe a little horrified by how much time I've spent on some of my favorite games, and today I thought I'd share my findings with you. If you've watched my previous videos, you probably won't be shocked to see most of these games on my list. Trust me, all of the usual suspects are here. Before we get started, I'd super appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe if you'd like to see more cozy gaming content from yours truly. Now, let's dive into the madness and see which games I've played the most. Powerwash Simulator. As a surprise to no one, I've played Powerwash Simulator more than any other game, probably in my life. I've logged roughly 183 hours, and I'm sure I'm going to log much more because they regularly release DLCs and free content updates. So why have I played this so much? Well, I have trouble relaxing, and I'm sure my brain is completely broken from scrolling social media, so sometimes I don't feel like doing my other hobbies. I know I can turn to Powerwash Sim for an easy way to unwind. It's really as simple as that. Maybe if you're feeling stressed out, throw in Powerwash Simulator with a comfort show or podcast. It'll melt your troubles away. Cozy Grove. I haven't talked about this game too much on the channel, but obviously it's a big hit in my home. I've racked up 157 hours in Cozy Grove. In case you're unfamiliar, Cozy Grove is a life sim game set on a haunted island. You play as a spirit scout, tasked with soothing the unsettled ghosts that inhabit the island, as well as bringing color and life back to Cozy Grove. Look, if I'm being honest, I have no idea what's going on in this game story-wise. I play it purely for the vibes and routine of it all. Although I haven't played Animal Crossing, I've heard it's quite similar, but on a smaller scale, as in you run around and collect items which you can craft and cook with. Also, Cozy Grove runs in real time, so it's ideal to pick up every day for a short period of time. But you're also incentivized to come back and discover new insect and fish species, which is why I suspect I've logged so many hours. Cozy Grove is really sweet and wholesome, and if you don't mind its slower pace, I think you'll love it. House Flipper. House Flipper, while not seemingly cozy at first glance, is quite similar to Powerwash Simulator. In addition to renovating homes, you also thoroughly clean them. The premise is quite simple. You're an up-and-coming home builder who renovates homes that have seen better days. From small beach houses to mega mansions, the type of house and challenges that come with it are what keep this game endlessly exciting for me. I mean, I have put 129 hours into this game. Something to mention, there are a handful of House Flipper DLCs to play through once you get through the original game. They add a bunch of new houses to renovate and new items to play around with. I also wanted to note that House Flipper is best experienced on a computer with a keyboard, at least in my experience. Spiritfarer. Ah, Spiritfarer. The game that I never wanted to end. I'm actually surprised I only put 41 hours into it. I was so drawn into this game, and I credit the writers for creating such an imaginative and compelling story. In case you weren't familiar, Spiritfarer is a side-scrolling management simulator that follows Stella, the newest Spiritfarer, whose job it is to help spirits that are stuck in a purgatory-like world cross over to the afterlife, all aboard her ship. You explore a sizable map with your spirit companions, collecting and crafting everything your passengers need to feel comfortable and content until they decide it's time to move on. I know, this sounds like a pretty heavy game, but I think the general gameplay, funny characters, and adorable art style lessen the serious subject matter. But don't get me wrong, I definitely cried at the end of this game. It's beautifully done, and I don't think I'll ever play another game like it again. Fresh Start Cleaning Simulator. Is anyone surprised I've sunk 33 hours into another cleaning simulator? Fresh Start Cleaning Simulator is a little different than its competitors because in addition to the cleaning component, you're also saving ecosystems around the world. The premise is simple. The Earth has become overrun by pollution, garbage, and dirt, and it's up to you to make various parts of the world nice and clean so the local flora and fauna can thrive. It's a very sweet and wholesome game, plus you're literally a hero to wild animals and you can pet them. The last time I played it, the controls were a little wonky, but I found that easy to work past and obviously enjoyed each moment I spent in Fresh Start Cleaning Simulator. House Flipper 2. Naturally, when House Flipper 2 came out, I had to play it. New properties, new core storyline. Let me just throw on my work boots and grab my tools so I can get to work. House Flipper 2 is essentially the same game as House Flipper. I've played the second installation for a grand total of 31 hours, and this is purely because the original House Flipper has so much more content to work through. As I mentioned earlier, there are a handful of OG House Flipper DLCs, and even though the game is quite old at this point, they continue to release new DLCs almost every year. But I'm not complaining. What makes House Flipper 2 unique is Sandbox Mode, which is where you can access community builds. At least, I'm pretty sure this is only a House Flipper 2 bonus. Please correct me if I'm wrong. When I discovered this, I felt like a kid in a candy store. There are so many unique builds, including a ton of spooky and horror-focused homes. I remember stumbling upon one where Michael Myers stalks you as you renovate and clean a home. So if you're a House Flipper 2 fan and haven't checked out Sandbox Mode yet, I highly recommend you do. Yonder, the Cloudcatcher Chronicles. The last game I'd like to share with you is Yonder, the Cloudcatcher Chronicles. This is one of the first exploration and adventure games I fell in love with, so it's actually kind of surprising I've only played it for roughly 28 hours. In Yonder, the Cloudcatcher Chronicles, you find yourself shipwrecked on the island of Gamea. The island is covered in a pollutant called the Murk, and it's up to you to eliminate it so the inhabitants can live a more peaceful life. This game is expansive, colorful, and just a joy to play. Although you have requests from inhabitants to work through, you can complete these tasks when you feel like it, which is key in making the game a stress-free experience. There's also some farming, but honestly, you can ignore this element if you're not into that. It has no impact on your progress. If you haven't already played Yonder, I highly recommend it. And it goes on sale often, so definitely pick it up when you can for a few dollars. And that wraps up my list. Have you also logged a lot of hours in any of these games? Let me know in the comments. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you in my next video.